Guys, how we doing? Hope you're well. Welcome to episode 3 of the Slimming World series. I hope you've enjoyed the previous 2 episodes. I hope you've watched them because it will set you up nicely for this one. The question is, did you feel restricted? So we asked the 50 people who took part in the survey. Did you feel restricted during your time with Slimming World? And we'll tie that in nicely with the first 2 questions, which will give us a picture of restriction, education, and if your body physically changed. So we're starting to get a real good picture of the person's experience here. Hope you enjoy it. As always, give us a wee subscribe, like and share. It'd be massively appreciated, and enjoy. Christy boy, welcome back.
Buzzing again, mate. This is my favourite part of the week.
Yes.
No joke, I'm not even just saying that. I look forward to the Friday Slimming World podcast.
Yes, same mate, same. That's my third coffee today. Ticker's gone. How many do you have a day?
I've had 2 monsters in the coffee. Sugar free, I might just say. Is that free in Slimming World, guys? I'm not sure. Give me a shout. chrisirvin.com.
You've went to become a consultant, haven't you? I knew it.
I done it, mate. I had to do it. I was getting excited about it. I'm curious.
I knew you would, mate. Guys, so thanks for listening and tuning in. We've had some unbelievable feedback from the first 2 episodes. Chris has received some amazing feedback from his team as well. And again, hopefully you realise that we're not slandering the company. We're not coming at it from a biased or, I don't know, like jealous way. We're just trying to explain the service that's on offer to the most amount of people in the UK in terms of weight loss. So, as always, mate, we will start with positive and negatives.
Yep.
Right in at the deep end. Probably just best asking you how are you?
Me? Good, mate. Yeah, see, as you said earlier about the feedback, it's been really positive. There's a couple of people in my group who've been on Slimming World before, and it's set a wee trigger off me. That way, one of the ladies was saying, I know what you're saying is right, but there's just something inside me that's just giving me a wee trigger. It's interesting because I got on really well with her, and we always have good chat, so it's good to hear it after me. I like to hear how people might be feeling if they are part of Slimming World, and she isn't, but her sister is right now, and she said the woman who does the Slimming World is really lovely and all that, and I'm like, but that doesn't mean it's the right thing. So it's interesting to get that wee nippy bit of feedback as well. I think it's good to get both. She agrees with everything we say, and she knows it's right, but it's set a wee trigger off deep inside her, mate. So we're working on that together. She knows what I'm talking about if she's listening.
No, that's good, mate. And I definitely agree with you. I think what people got to realise is with Slimming World, right, there's obviously human beings that run it. There's human beings right at the front line that step you on the scales. So there's obviously going to be mixed messaging. It's not going to just be cutthroat black and white. It's the same as coaching and personal training. Yep. There's always, we get education, and then it's how we translate that to then feedback to clients or members. So people need to realise that. Like what we're no saying is Slimming World shite, and us personal trainers are the dog's bollocks. Every single one is. Every single one. We're no saying that because that would just be stupid. It's a bit like having a shite McDonald's and saying McDonald's is shite. Yep. It's probably just been the person serving you the McDonald's that's no put stuff fresh on for you, and your chips are rubbish. So it's important to realise that. And that's also something that I shared in my story yesterday, mate. There's a Slimming World member who I've spoke to quite frequently throughout this. She's got kind of triggered by some of the stuff I've said. Yep. What I mentioned before the podcast as well is she's very aware of Slimming World's downfalls and their pitfalls, but that doesn't make it all right. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, mate.
I'm sure you've got some sort of analogy for that because you're quite good on the spot with analogies. I'll let you think about it.
Let me think about it, mate. Give me time.
But to realise that something's poor, and because you've realised that makes it all right, isn't the case. Because at the end of the day, guys, remember what we said in episode 1. These people are vulnerable, they're desperate, they need people's help because they're in a position in their life that they're in a bad place. So they will take anything that's going to help them or what they think is going to help them. That's why these fad diets and all these kind of clubs have their place, unfortunately. So, yeah, just thought we'd clear that up at the start. And again, personal trainers, not every single one of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. And, you know, that was one of the arguments that girl made, mate. She says, I've had a pal who had a PT who told her to do this, told her to do that, and he was rubbish, didn't gear this, didn't gear that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's worth noting, that we're not sitting here trying to paint the perfect picture for PTs and coaches.
Nope.
Instead, we're trying to make sure that people are aware that we're at least qualified, and hopefully PTs watching this can understand that how to deal or help previous members in the future.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I think what we're Again, what we're not doing is, see, even the individual people who are actually the consultants for Slimming World, they're actually vulnerable as well to Slimming World because the organisation are hiring them and probably getting them to buy in. You know what I mean? They're going, you work for us, you can do this, you've done it yourself. So they're probably, because they lack education, they probably still believe they're doing the right thing in some ways. But because of the lack of education and understanding what they're actually doing, it's just not coming across well. Does that make sense? So it's not like we're sitting here saying they're bad people. They just lack the proper education, mate, in what they're delivering. And Slimming World as an organisation are probably causing that because they're going into a vulnerable group and saying, right, Cheryl, you've done 12 months at Slimming World now. You know how it works. Why don't you be a consultant and you can help us out? And she's all like happy because it's like this big organisations give her that opportunity. Aye. Does that make sense? It's quite easy to, like we said, mate, it is a lot of vulnerable people with weight loss goals and that, so Slimming World would pick up on that.
Yep. No, definitely, mate. Totally agree with you. Let's go for positives first, mate. I say this is a positive, but we'll soon see if it's a positive. I'll let you guys decide if it's a positive. The person who actually told me this, who when they answered the survey, actually said it was a positive, and you'll tell by what she says here. Remember, guys, all these positive negatives are direct quotes from these people, not me and Chris. I've even got screenshots of them for the big long one, so that I didn't need to write it on myself. But they're all direct quotes from these people. I can name the person if I can put it down like some sort of, what do you call that when you do like a nutrition things and you need to
reference?
Aye, fucking Chris Irvin et al. EKIL. So yeah, positives. She said, I said, did you feel restricted? She says, I didn't feel very restricted. Being able to eat as much of the 3 foods as you like. This meant I also never lost and learned much. So take away the lost and never learned much, because that's nothing to do with Slimming World, I guess. That's an adherence issue potentially, so we'll not talk about that today. But let's take the first part of it. I didn't feel very restricted, being able to, because I was able to eat as much free foods as I wanted. So let's just clear up. Yep, I've got the book. Let's clear up what free foods actually is, right? So I'm just going to read them out to Chris. He doesn't know. He'll probably have a guess on some of them, the typical pasta one. But I'm going to read them out to Chris. And in Chris's head, from training clients for so long, and anybody watching or listening that is a personal trainer or calorie conscious, you'll probably start to count some of these food sources up in your head. And bear in mind, we're allowed unlimited amount of them. So we can start to see why labelling all these categories of food sources and macronutrients as free becomes the big issue. Okay, so let's look through it. So free food category number 1, meat and poultry. This includes chicken, duck, you know how fatty duck is, turkey, bacon, making sure it's very lean, beef, no context of beef, it just says beef, gammon, goat, ham, lamb, mince, lean beef, pork, veal, game, like grouse and stuff. We're allowed all that.
So just to clarify for the viewers and the listeners, you can eat as much of that as you want every day?
Yep, because free foods.
Wow.
Right.
Lucky buggers in that Slimming World.
So there's a wee couple of notes, mate, like make sure you remove the skin and visible fat from the meat, and drain your lean mince after browning to ensure it's free. So make sure it's free.
So is that where all the calories are in? Just in the juice?
Must be, mate. So
laugh, right, but
the free food is how you satisfy your appetite even on your hungriest days, right? So then we go into other categories, mate, where it starts getting a wee bit ridiculous. And when it comes to the science of energy balance, that we know in order to lose fat, you need to be in a calorie deficit. This is where it doesn't make sense. You know, we've got fish. So your white fish, we know how lean white fish is, but there's a whole list of it here. Shellfish, oily fish, which we know contains a lot of good fats, which also contains a lot of calories. So oily fish like herring, kippers, carp, all that stuff. Then we go into dairy products as well, that's allowed. They let us know that it contains a bit of calcium. Proud of them. Fat-free yogurt, natural yogurt, fat-free Greek-style yogurt, fat-free natural skyr, soya, all that stuff. Then we're going to rice, pasta and grains. So they're nutritious and cooked without fat. They're free foods at Slimming World. So there's a couple of wee asterisks at each one of these here, mate, right? So we've got, just for the record, by the way, those listening on Spotify, I'm reading through a book here. I should have probably said that. Probably think I'm rhyming it off. Like, how's he remember all this? Couscous is free.
Yep.
Dried pasta has got a couple of asterisks. Free pasta and noodles contain sins. See page 81 in the sin section. So fresh pasta, sorry. Dry pasta, you're allowed as long as it's not fresh. So you're allowed as much dry pasta as you want. Pero barley, quinoa, rice. White rice is completely allowed. There's no asterisks above that. Rice, white rice, brown, whole grain, wild has a wee asterisk. And then spelt, whatever the fuck spelt is. Then we have vegetables, which we know are typically lower in calories. The list goes on with vegetables. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but there is some vegetables that very, very quickly puts your carbs up, your carb intake up. All you need to do is track for a couple of days and you'll realise that. Then we come to fruit. So let's look at the wee asterisks here. Nearly all fresh whole fruits are Slimming World free foods. Have as much fresh or frozen fruit as you like for breakfast, dessert, or as a snack. Now let me just check. There's a thing with Slimming World, isn't it? If you blend it up, then it's no longer free, right? So you're allowed apples, apricots, bananas, blackberries, cherries, all this stuff, right? Now, I know a banana alone's 100 calories, between 100 and 120 calories, depending on the size of the banana, right?
All bananas are different sizes, guys.
Yes, we're all different sizes, Chris. Custard apples, grapes. I mean, the list goes on. It's basically all this fruit, right? So let's see here what it says here in asterisks. Cooked, canned and dried fruit count as healthy extras or as sins. Pureed fruit, fruit juice and smoothies always count as a sin. So if I take this banana that's 120 calories, I can keep eating it, keep deep throating it, keep eating it. But if I blend it up, it's a sin.
Because you've ruined the banana, mate.
Because I've ruined the molecular structure of the banana.
Right, let's start from the beginning, right?
So what do I go back to? Do I just go as a whole?
Let's just go as a whole, right? So,
wait, mate, one more. Beans, peas and lentils are also free. I think that's the last page. Let me see. That's the last page, aye.
Right, first of all, when the podcast gets recorded, it should be like, when you read that out there, see when you watch Friends and they make a joke?
Aye.
Then the laughter comes on.
Aye, we can do that. We can
We should have
arrange that.
started that, right? First of all. Like, second of all, on a serious note, right, obviously we're having a wee bit of a laugh at some of this stuff because it's just, to us, it's just mental based on what we know is scientific fact. Now, right back to the meats, like, it doesn't matter if they're lean, fat, whatever it is, there's still calories in it, regardless. So it's to any of the foods, to tell somebody you can eat that stuff all day long and lose weight, this makes zero sense to us, mate. Zero sense to any science that's ever been produced on how to be in a calorie deficit, and that's how you burn fat. It's almost like, how do we actually educate anybody on this, listening to this podcast more than that? Like, if you eat 3,000 calories worth of meat a day and the calories for your body's 2,000, doing that over time, you're going to put weight on, 100%.
Yep.
It doesn't need to be any more complicated or as simple as that.
Do you think it's lazy? Because basically what they've done, mate, is with all this, I mean, we don't want to call a food healthy, right? But the way they've looked at it there is, and I believe this to be the first time I ever identified Slimming World, and my assumption is the same as it always has been. What I took for the company is they stop people eating takeaways to make them eat as much normal food as possible. When I say normal, I mean packs of rice, packs of pasta, home-cooked meals. Now, that concept sounds good. It sounds all right. We're just getting a nation we've got a really problematic obesity rate from eating takeaways, chip shops, chippies, kebabs, all that stuff, and just saying, right, follow this book here. All we've done is taking stuff from the supermarket, have as much as you want. We'll give you a couple of more guidelines than that, and that's what they've done. That's what I see Slimming World as. But then when we dig deeper and we look at all this stuff, there is a lot more worrying things at the front. So you're right, mate. I think it's a very, very lazy approach, because the stuff that I've just rhymed off, none of it has calories beside it. So there's the lazy approach is this stuff, give them a book and just hope that they don't eat as much pasta. Just hope that they stop eating a Chinese at the weekend and make a fake away. And people will lose weight. But with no education behind it, no reasoning, no real reason apart from they made me, so I better pay them again.
Yep.
Whereas we as coaches are trying to do the exact opposite. We're trying to identify what's in foods, why they're in foods, what the benefit could be to you towards your goals, and then around your workouts. If you want to build muscle, here's a protein target. And this then this sort of stuff stems off good and bad foods, mate, that Slimming World we know that Slimming World members have got, because they're calling stuff sins and they're saying stuff's free. So where do we draw the line, mate? You know, we could get as intricate as talking about a chicken breast is free.
Yep.
But what about a chicken breast with some seasoning on it? Is that free as well? Is there a sin list for every single Maggie bag that you've ever used, every single seasoning that you've used? So the list goes on, and it's, for me, mate, it's very, very lazy approach.
They must be relying on, this is where they probably go wrong, they must be relying on people to not be gluttonous and eat millions of food all the time, but the people who go in this have got a habit of, like, what I call a negative relationship with food, probably a poor relationship with food, so they're probably eating all the time anyway. So I don't imagine in a kind of long-term success ratio how this can work.
Yep.
Because if you give me that Slimming World book, mate, say I came to you and said, Chris, I'm going on holiday, mate, and I just want to be a bit leaner for my holiday. And you said, take this book, mate. See these foods in this book, just eat whatever you want. Mate, I'd be 10 stone heavier in 12 weeks, mate. I'd be eating all the game and all the fucking chicken and all the
bacon,
all that pasta. I love pasta. I would be massive, mate.
Yep.
So I'm actually sitting here a bit perplexed, mate, because I knew roughly what Slimming World is, but now you've read all that food suit, mate, I just don't understand how that can work.
So
at all.
We know when we look at our clients, the education we're trying to give them. Imagine we threw this book at our clients, mate. Imagine that. It makes no sense to us because we've tracked for a number of years and we've also seen the challenge and obstacles that people come across when they track. We already know there's a massive margin error for even tracking your food, let alone no tracking it.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? The app that we use, MyFitnessPal, typically is inaccurate because it allows users to upload.
Yep.
So we find it difficult, or it is difficult to stick to your goals and lose weight by even reducing that margin of error and tracking. Imagine just going, forget what's in foods. Here's a category and here's a category. Have as much as you want of that and don't have as much of that. We'll sin it. So that's a worry. And mate, exactly what you said there. And this brings us on to the point that this lassie said is part of the negative. So this is the first negative. I said, did you feel restricted? She said, massively. Have as much pasta as you want is rarely put into practice. So that was a very good point, I felt, mate, because they're saying have as much pasta as you want, and then, you know, the typical person goes, right, that's cool. Females, let's talk about that, who are very aware of being bloated, very aware of their stomach all the time. Every day you wake up, most of you are checking to see how you feel, especially during a dieting phase. And Slimming World are basically saying have as much pasta as you want, but this lassie's saying when you put that into practice, after a couple of days of eating pasta, you're going to sit there and go, I'm bloated to fuck, because it's no great for performance, it's no great for digestion, and you're going to feel sluggish, which then ultimately is going to lead to bad habits. No want to get up and go a walk, no want to go to the gym. You can't go to the gym, should I say on this? But that was a very good point for that person, mate. Do you get what I mean? Where she's basically saying, they're saying have as much pasta as you want, and that's one of the biggest draws. But who can eat pasta 7 days a week unless you're maybe lifting weights and you're burning the calories for it?
Do you think Slimming World have honestly thought about it that deep though?
No, mate. No, that's what I'm saying.
Aye.
So they don't care if you eat
disguised,
pasta because, mate, let's face it, right? If I was to give you as much pasta as you want, a pasta and sauce and a meat, it's going to fill somebody up no matter how much eventually. But then you can have pasta for lunch as well, and as much fruit as you want, and as much couscous and all the rest of it. Whereas if somebody has a munchie box, then they're going to eat that, and it'll probably be 1,800 calories, 2,000 calories if you scan it yourself. But then if I give you pasta and fill you up with that, you're probably about 600 calories of pasta is what you could probably eat. Yeah. Like, not you, right? You're an animal, right? But the average female that goes to these clubs, right? So that in Slimming World's mind is great. That person's going to lose weight in theory. So that's what they're doing to you. That's the logic. And I know it is. And it's what I go back to my first point when I first ever heard about Slimming World. They want you to, this is how I put it, they want you to stop eating as much shite and they want you to eat normal food. That's it. That's as far as their business structure goes. That's as far as their coaching model goes. And then all the stuff that spiral after that is just a diversion to stop you eating takeaways. That's what I believe.
You summed it up because clearly the stuff in that book shows you that. And like we spoke about in the first episode, it is a step in the right direction, mate, but it's not a long-term success strategy. It's like, so in order to change over the space of, say, 12 weeks, 6 months, a year, you need the long-term success in education. I think Slimming World's like the first step for somebody just to kind of lose a tiny bit of weight and make them feel a bit better. Mm-hmm. But we all know It doesn't last because the weight that they drop when they go back to eating their kind of regular food that they've been eating before then, they just pile it all back on and double.
Yep.
So I think you're right, mate. I think it's disguised like these low-fat yogurts and all that, but they're just got sugar not in them, aren't they?
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? Low-fat just is like, again, the marketing. If you put on an advertising, low-fat yogurt, people who want to lose fat think to themselves, low-fat yogurt?
Yep.
I'm trying to lose fat. And they've got a low-fat yogurt, but it's got about 20 grams of sugar in it. Do you know what I mean? So the calories will still be up on that yogurt.
Aye.
And we know there's good fats and there's fats that you should probably avoid. So, yeah, it's all a big disguise.
That's a big disguise, mate. I definitely think that. And like you mentioned there, sometimes they get caught in the trap and it's the cycle they love.
That's it.
And that's probably Slimming World's business model is the cycle. They might not admit that, but it's definitely lose weight, put it back on, lose weight, put it back on, and keep paying. If we tried to hit a client, let's just be honest here, mate. If we tried to hit a client with a book for their nutrition, I think 90% of my clients would slap me with it. A book that every other client knows they're getting. And we know that every client's individual. Yep. We know that, you know, like we're not training athletes here, right? But every client's different in their circumstance, their experience, their health, their goals. Just to give somebody a book that everybody else gets to get to their goals, does that not tell you that, back to episode 1 about this is their game? You've got Glasgow PT, NitroFit and the other coaches. We charge an expensive rate. You could call it expensive. It depends what way you look at it. And we take on people via phone call. We speak to them. They fill in forms. Some will you join up and it's a £5 or it's a £10 or it's 15 quid and you get a book. So what does that tell you about the business model? What does that tell you about their like, do you know what I mean? Look at it. Step outside the situation and just look at it and go, right, they're playing a numbers game. So it's impossible to get personalised. Oh, but guess what? At the front page, you write your name on it. Fucking whoop-de-woo.
Personal.
Whoop-de-woo. That's no personal, is it? It's your book. So, aye, bit off track there, mate, but that's what you had said there. This book's just gave me a...
But you know what it is, Chris? It goes back to that vulnerable stuff again, mate. What we're forgetting here is they're so desperate, mate. These people need help so bad that that's the only thing they can see in front of them right now. So to them, it's like you said, if you give that to your client, they might slap you in the face, or they might be so vulnerable and buy into you so much, mate, that they'll believe anything you say. Like Slimming World, do you know what I mean? So our clients have got a lot of buy-in buzz, but that's because we do the right things. We've got good ethics and good values, so they trust whatever we say. So I would be surprised if your client did slap me in the face because they trust you so much, mate. But that's only because you're doing the right things. But these people are so vulnerable, mate, that I just think that them having a wee book and somebody to talk to is like the world at that point in time.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
No,
that they're just getting sent right down the wrong road.
Aye.
And that's where the issue lies.
Because what contains in the book is, and like you said, down the wrong road, and what happens in that book and what the advice they try and give you then leads to the cycle that we spoke about. Yep. So, yeah, mate, cool. I want to read this post out to you, mate, and then you can tell me what you make it. This is, again, this message that this client sent, this member sent, and I just screenshotted it. So she said, I know they take the piss a bit, saying eat as much pasta as you want and make it sound like you can, but I don't know how many people actually do that in practice, so that's what I mentioned. This is the full message. I know I didn't. I think it was the restriction around the food shop as well. Guys, listen to this. Like, you had to look at the sin value of absolutely everything, because one packet of cooked chicken could be 3 sins for the full thing, and another could be 6, even though they're both chicken and the calories were normally very similar. I remember the woman who ran the sessions I went to saying, if you have points during the day that you feel hungry after it, brush your teeth because it helps curb your appetite. The person says, like, come on to fuck. The reason someone is hungry is probably because they were only allowed 30 grams of porridge this morning, because any more than that would have been sins. And I had a mugshot for my lunch. So mugshots were free. That's a big thing that my clients' previous Slimming World talk about is I think mugshot's free. I might be wrong, but mugshot's a manky wee fake pot noodle dish that I think might have been free because a lot of people had it in their Slimming World time, or it's very, very low sin value anyway. So what do you make of that, mate? What do you make of that message?
Well, first of all, mate, I'm going to get you to read the first bit out in a minute, right? But see, when you're reading that to me, mate, right, I'm actually sitting here and thinking to myself, how am I going to answer this? It's like when they had people say the earth's flat, right? And you're just sitting thinking to yourself, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you actually talking about? That's what I'm getting right now, mate. See, you're reading it out to me and they're like, chickens, 3 sins or 6 sins. I'm like, what are you talking about? Where is the sin in a chicken? I don't even know how to answer it, mate, because I'm sitting thinking to myself, what the fuck are these people talking about? Do you know what I mean? I don't get it, mate. So read the first part out because I had a wee bit of an answer for that, but then you just see when you started reading the rest of it, I'm just sitting thinking to myself, I'm fucking lost here.
Aye.
It's so stupid that I actually don't have an answer for it.
So the first part was about the chicken and being the sins.
Sorry, I gave you that.
Wasn't it? I remember the woman who ran the sessions I went to saying,
Brush your teeth, mate.
aye,
if you're
brush your
hungry.
teeth one, mate.
Right. Can I just be honest, right? If you're listening to this, if you believe that's true, then I'm sorry, you need to go and get help. Have somebody. I don't know who it is, it might be Paul. He's a therapist. I'm not trying to sell him out here, but if you think you need to brush your teeth to stop being hungry, then you need to see somebody. I'm sorry. I just need to say that, mate. That's full Irving there. I'm not even going to hold it back.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
So, yeah, there's no science or backing behind brushing your teeth. Especially, mate, she talks about during the day. If at any point during the day that you feel hungry, any point, so fucking 1 o'clock in the afternoon, brush your teeth. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, brush them again, man.
Do you get what I'm trying to say here, mate? How are we supposed to have an intelligent conversation about that, mate?
I know.
Like, truthfully,
when that's the
I don't know how you can have an intelligent discussion around that, mate, when it's based on, I don't even know where they get that theory from at all. I might try it though. Do you want me to try it?
Well, see, if you, like, I have heard of brushing your teeth at night before you go to bed to stop yourself feeling hungry, because obviously your taste buds and your mind, I don't know if it tells you that you've just brushed your teeth. I don't know, right? I have heard of that, but it's also, I know that makes it all right. I've just heard it.
Well, maybe because you got your bed, mate, and you fall asleep. You're not going to eat.
You've got to brush your teeth anyway. If anything, what they're doing is contributing towards better dental hygiene.
Good.
So that's
Good
a positive
teeth,
for you as dentists listening.
Check their gnashers out then. Any Slimming World gnashers.
Aye, but then they ruin it with the fruit, hunters of fruit that are allowed. So let's move swiftly along. In terms of food, sorry, this lassie said, I said, did you feel restricted? She went, in terms of food, no, but I felt restricted with them advising me not to exercise, as I really enjoyed getting a sweat on. Yeah,
so I think when I've been listening to you this afternoon, talking about all the stuff that's in the book, it's not actually that restrictive.
No.
If that makes sense. But restricting exercise and then telling people they can eat all that food that's free is the total opposite of advice you should be getting. Mm-hmm. If you're going to a slimming club, do you know what I mean? Because slimming means losing weight in some way. So if you've got unlimited pasta, unlimited meat, unlimited mushed bananas with 3 sins in them, and you're not exercising, there's only one road for me, and that's back the way.
Yep.
I don't think that's a positive.
Yep.
Are we still on the positives here? Is this positive?
No, this is negative now, mate.
All right, cool.
It's negative
Sorry,
too.
mate. That's good.
There was only one positive, and it turned out to be a negative. Sorry. Felt restricted. Aye, so this lassie said here she enjoys getting a sweat on, so she probably enjoyed some sort of exercise, maybe running outside, or she enjoyed going to the gym. She then obviously had needed nutrition advice or nutrition help, diet help, so she went to Slimming World and they advised her not to exercise. Now, I have spoke to the person in my story from last night who says that they don't like tell you not to go to the gym, but I have heard an overwhelming amount of people tell you that you shouldn't go, so that's the answer for that. So this person enjoyed getting a sweat on, mate, i.e. they enjoyed releasing endorphins, they enjoyed taking their frustration out, they enjoyed 30, 40 minutes, 50 minutes of them getting a sweat on and just channeling it for the world. We spoke in the last episode about you, your jiu-jitsu, we talked about me deadlifting, we talked about the benefits of weight training, the benefits of getting a sweat on and exercising, and this person had just been told not to. So that was the restriction for her, mate. That's what she felt. She felt she just couldn't get that sweat. How much an effect can that have on somebody, mate? So if we already spoke about how tough it could be dieting with foot, some sort of training and exercise. But imagine getting that took away from you, mate, just so that you could step on a scale.
Mate, firstly, let's not make any bones about it. Anybody who encourages not to exercise is just, again, pushing in the wrong direction, mate. There's not a single human being alive with a wee half a brain that thinks that exercise is bad for you, mate. You shouldn't do it. Mate. That's just not even a debate, mate. I'm not even going to dignify the Slimming World theory there by even going into it too much, because that's just ridiculous. What was the question again, the second part?
She enjoyed
how
getting
bad
sweat
could
on.
that be for somebody not to exercise? Right, come on, mental health straight away. So if you go to the doctors with mental health, I mean, I've never had this, but I know a lot of people with mental health problems, mate. One of the first things they say to you is, you need to exercise. You need a good sleep routine. But exercise always comes up, mate. It comes up with everything. If you're on a diet or a dieting phase or whatever you want to call it, and you're not exercising, that's a dark road, mate. It's tough enough to diet anyway. Never mind not getting to go and enjoy yourself, because you should be exercising, doing something probably that you like a wee bit. Like you say, you could be a single mum, you could be a family mum, and your wee time is getting to the gym, because it's stressful being a parent, mate. As much as it's good, I am a parent myself. It's getting that wee bit of time away sometimes for the kids. If you've had them all day, if you're a mum in the house all day, is your time. That's your wee special time. If you go to Slim World and they tell you you can't do that during a dieting phase as well, it's just wrong, mate.
Yep.
There's no positives there at all for me.
Yep. I definitely agree. And obviously that person actually enjoyed it to the point she get told to stop. So like Chris says, as black and white as that, getting told not to get a sweat on is a very worrying sign for anybody. So next point. Did you feel restricted? This person said, yes, massively. I would never go out with my friends for a drink, as I'd worry about the sins in alcohol or the Chinese I'd want to have the next day. I felt, this is another point, sorry, so that was that point. So she never wanted to go out and drink with her friends. She never, because, and obviously the Chinese the next day that we inevitably have when we're hungover. So that's how she felt restricted. So I didn't actually handpick these, but just looking at them, we're now at a point where we've had one for exercise, probably, that girl there who got told not to exercise. This one I would say is lifestyle. So she actually didn't want to go out and enjoy time with her friends and family. It could be a partner for a drink, and didn't want to have a Chinese on a Sunday. So one of the biggest things as coaches that we always try and enhance is our client's lifestyle. I spoke to you very quickly about a separate issue before this. I'd say a topic. And it was about lifestyle and how we want our clients to live an enjoyable lifestyle. Because at the end of the day, that enjoyable lifestyle reflects how you feel as a person, how you potentially feel in your body, how you feel in terms of your family and friends, if you're in a good place with them and your partner. Because at the end of the day, mate, no matter what protocol you choose, if it's NitroFit, the Glasgow PT or Slimming World, if your lifestyle is not enjoyable, it's all flawed. It all needs fixed. So in terms of lifestyle, this person felt that they couldn't go out a drink. What's the opposite of that then, mate, for us, for clients? What do they know to do when they've got they've got plans at the weekend versus Slimming World guilt approach? Right,
so I know for a fact the way we do it, mate, is, and I don't even know your protocol, but I just know it'll be the same as mine. If you came and said to me, like I was training you, and you're like, Chris, I've got a wedding at the weekend, it's my best mate's wedding, so what do you want me to do? Or you probably know what to do, mate. I'm just trying to talk to a point where we've just started together and I've not educated you yet. I'd say, right, Chris, you know your calories, you know your daily calories, let's take some off. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just a wee 150 off, depending on your calorie goal, right? And then go and enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? At the wedding, go and get a couple of beers. And that deficit you've been in is even deeper. So the time it gets to the Saturday, the wedding, those beers don't do any damage. Do you know what I mean? But mate, just to touch on what you just said there, like in a whole, that girl feels she can't get out with her friends anymore. Now, obviously that's subjective to her, but for that individual person, there's probably many more like her. You're withdrawn her for your society then, for a community, for your family and friends who we like to socialise, don't we? We're humans. So not only she's been advised not to go to the gym, well, she probably meets people in there who she likes and trains together. Now she doesn't want to get with her friends and family because the sins in the food and the drink, she's been told by Slimming World it's not good. So you're withdrawing her even more for something social, community-wise. That's what I picked up for that when you were talking, first of all, mate, before you talked about the strategy for dealing with that situation.
Yep.
So it's two things there, mate, two things.
And it's funny because they go on about how solid their community is of people on a Tuesday night or whatever night it is, and yet you're removing this person from their actual community, their actual tribe, home and stuff like that. So that was absolutely spot on. That's exactly what I would have said. But imagine the Monday they tell you, I've got a wedding and the weekend, what will I do? Well, let's just hope that, they don't have smoothies at the wedding because you'll not be able to have one.
Just hope for a pasta dish. Just go mental in the pasta.
Is vol-au-vents, is that on the free food? Finger food?
We're laughing, mate, but in reality it's not actually funny, but like I said, I'm actually finding this, I'll just be honest on the podcast, I'm finding this episode quite difficult, mate, because trying to like retract everything I know in my brain
Aye, I know.
to that level, I'm like, what the fuck, man? Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know if you're getting at me, so I'm trying to just tell the viewer the kind of simple version that I can think of, but it's just so ridiculous, mate, that my brain's just like, I don't get it.
Yep.
I don't understand it to even any sort of level at all, and why they're doing that.
I agree with you, mate, because we obviously have private websites for our clients, and the goal is to educate them with it, and take away the busy noise of the world that is nutrition training and social media. So we try and educate them privately, and I definitely agree with you, mate. And I've got to a point now where, or my clients have got to a point where we're now doing videos, and I'm sure it's the same with you, and trainings on really intricate stuff, mate.
Yep.
It's really, really enjoyable.
It's good, mate.
It's really intricate stuff, and you know, I've got a video on the VIP site called Got Plans. So I started to realise that people have plans. They go out at the weekend, and it's like, right, how can we just get a solid 10-minute training or educational video on this and be like, right, if you've got plans at the weekend, here's what to do. They go in, they watch it, they know what they've been doing, they've already been doing the foundations, they make a couple of adjustments, just like Chris says. You take 100 to 200 calories off per day, you've accumulated some calories, think of it as saving up money, then you spend it and enjoy yourself. Also, you feel less bloated, you feel good in whatever dress you're wearing at the wedding, and it just creates a really, really good lifestyle, like we just mentioned, and a good relationship with food and training, and everybody's happy. The people at the wedding are seeing somebody who's happy and not miserable, and it's a good time. And like Chris says, I don't want to use the word dumbing down, but I will. And it's almost like, how can we comprehend? Our clients know how to track, they know about macronutrients, they know food groups, they don't know them as free and sin and speed. They know what they actually are and the benefits they have towards their goals. How do we take all that away from our brains and go, right, you've been given a book with stuff. How do I talk to you that this isn't good? And our clients are over here while you're here. Not saying they're better than you, it's just saying that you've not saw the light yet, mate. Would you agree?
Totally agree, mate. It's because, like you said, we're tooling our clients up with the best information that we have based on science to go forward and enjoy their lives. Instead of being in a vicious cycle, mate. Like we said, I don't want to see somebody on and off for the next 8 years. I don't want a client who comes to me on and off for the next 8 years because I haven't educated them enough to say, see you later. I want them to go away and say, Chris, I don't need you now. I'd be like, brilliant. I've done my job.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just backwards, mate. Like you say, try to take it to the level. I'm the kind of guy, mate, when you tell me something, I sit and think to myself, why have they done that? Aye. So I've thought about Slim World quite a lot, and I'm like, I don't understand the logic, mate. I'm like, why have they done what they've done? Why are you allowed free foods? Why are you allowed free pastas? Why are you allowed free meats? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense, mate. I try to get an answer, but I don't have one. I don't have a logical theory of maybe it's that, Chris. Maybe it's that. The only one I can come up with is maybe they hope they just fucking don't eat too much. That's ridiculous, mate. When you've got somebody who's got a poor relationship with food and expect them not to go crazy on free foods, 99% of them are going to go crazy on free foods.
Aye.
In fact, I had a conversation with one of my coaches today. She won't mind me saying, and we were talking about Slim World. I said, have you tried Slim World before? She said, yep. I went for 2.5 weeks. I followed it to a T and I put weight on and I just left. She said, I just kept eating tons of pasta. I'm not making that up, mate. I know it sounds like I can get her on to say it. She literally told me that today, mate. She'll know what I'm talking about when she sees us, because she told me that. She followed all the things they were saying is fine and then put weight on.
Aye, because but in theory, if you do that, you will put weight on.
Absolutely, mate. I would be a monster, mate. I'm telling you. See, if I was allowed to stick with that book on a say I was just doing a wee cut for a holiday, I'd be massive, mate. I'd put 10 kg on instead of the opposite way.
Just heavy scran and pasta.
100%.
Yep, cool. Guys, this is good stuff. I hope you're enjoying it. This might be a good time to share it. Share it in your stories. Give it a wee like. So final point that we're going to talk about. I'm actually just going to add in a wee bonus round at the end as well. I'm going to read through the book and just try and we can keep the camera on Chrissy's face and see if I can get him either shocked or wound up, right?
You check my heart rate, man. It's only 62 now, so let's go.
Final one is they felt restricted. Did you feel restricted? Felt restricted with various food groups and couldn't understand how and why they were categorised in that way. So this person is actually what a lot of Slimming World people should do. What a lot of people with a PT should do is question stuff. Like, I love nothing more. I did do in the first couple of years of PTing because I was like, don't ask me that, don't ask me that. I'm just telling you because I've been told. I love getting asked, why is that the case? Why am I on these calories? Why are you telling me to do this exercise? Why should I track this? Why should I do that? When you ask why with something, you find out the reason. You should anyway. Your trainer or coach should be able to tell you why. I've actually just found out that when someone replied to my story of Slimming World and said it isn't actually just the consultants that get you on the scale, it's other members.
Yep.
So not only I just can't fathom that whatsoever. It's a bit like my ma replying to check-ins at the weekend for everybody. My ma just been like, "You all right, hen? How you been?"
You still paying your mutt, doesn't it?
Still paying my ma.
It's me, Chris. How you getting on this week, darling?
I just put my voice on. So I sidetracked, but she finally asked why, and I urge you guys to ask why. Go through your book, your Slimming World book, and just say, ask your consultant, just say to them, why is that a free food? Why is a banana 120 calories free? But then when I blend it up, I need to count it as a sin. Why? Or because it changes the structure and it changes the calorie content and the whatever it is, it changes it. And that's why you need to count it as a sin.
Change the DNA in the banana.
Changes the DNA in the banana. Ask them why. Ask them for proof. And I bet you they can't give you a reasonable source. So this is probably an education thing, mate, innit?
Absolutely.
That this person wondered why they categorise their foods. And I can't really think of an answer, mate. Again, it was what you were saying there. You don't understand what they've done. It's when we take Slimming World and reverse engineer it, mate, away from someone on a Tuesday night taking somebody on a scale. Let's reverse engineer it all the way. And what we have is chairman and these head honchos going, right, what have we got? Right, we've got people who have a lot of fat to lose, who typically, Western diet, who eat shite. They eat takeaways every other day. Right, okay, how can we get them eating less takeaways and eating normal foods, i.e. cooking, and then that's how we get a result. Right, okay, that's easy enough. Right, how many people do we need?
Yep.
Right, how do we get them back? What's a retention tool? A retention tool is constant. Because did you know, mate, that if you lose weight on Slimming World, right, if you consistently lose weight, so say I set you a weight target, this is what they do in your book or whatever. Say, Oven, what do you weigh? Right, I weigh 90 kilo. Right, Oven, we're going to get you down to 85, right? See, when you hit 85 kilo, mate, right, you no longer pay. You don't pay anymore.
Incentivized to save a £5 a week.
So you don't pay because you've hit your target weight. So what they tell you today is, don't, like, that's you sorted. And then they tell you don't need to come to as much sessions. You don't need to come to Tuesday night because you're fine. So then you go away without the accountability of stepping on a scale, which is still accountability, still stepping on a scale. Yep. You go and put the weight on, you go, fuck, I need to go back. I'm 87 kilo now. And that's the cycle repeating itself. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So you're no longer profitable to them when you hit your target. So then they say, bye, don't come, you don't need to come, you've hit your weight. You go away with no knowledge, no accountability, and go, fuck, right, okay, I better just eat the same stuff. I'm not getting stepped on a scale on a Tuesday night. All right, do you know what? I'm back to 87 kilo. Oh, God, I need to go back to Slimming World again. That's their business model, mate. That's what they do. That's how they keep the cycle repeating itself. The number one thing is probably knowledge.
Absolutely is, mate. It's new. We've talked about this for 3 weeks, mate. I've got no doubt in my mind it's to do with education.
Yep,
and that's it.
I'd agree.
I actually would like to find out who are the individuals behind these books. I know it's Slimming World, but who's the nutritional expert in there and where they're getting this logic from, mate? Because it's going to annoy me now, and I need to find out, like, literally who comes up with these ideas and why. Like you said, I need to know.
Yep. We put on top of the head honchos in Slimming World. Yeah, there's a chairman, Margaret. Margaret's the chairman. Previous Slimmer of the week.
I've got last week.
She's still doing it.
I've been a member for 8 years.
Right, okay, so I'm going to read through this book and just see what the chat is. Just try and bonus round. Let's just see. Free foods, healthy extras. So healthy extras, what's the script with healthy extras? Let's see what they say about that. I hope you can't hear this sound of the pages turning too loud. in your ear. Cool. So measured healthy extras. So you get 2 healthy extra A choices and 1 healthy extra B choice. So A choices are food that provide calcium, which help keep your teeth and bones healthy. Well, we're already brushing our teeth 5 times a day anyway when we're starving. Choose from a long list, so milk, cheese. So I'm guessing you're allowed 2 A choices and 1 B choice for free, I'm guessing, as an extra.
What's in there?
So let's talk about the A choices. So you're allowed 2 of these. 350 ml skimmed milk, 250 semi-skimmed, 200 ml of whole milk. Fuck me. Cheese, 30 gram of cheddar you're allowed, 40 gram of reduced fat cheddar. You're allowed 30 gram of cheddar, right? Full cheddar, full fat, full whatever. And then you're
Whoever wrote that book's a full cheddar, mate. I'm sorry.
Then you're only allowed 40 grams of reduced fat. What do you think you're going to go for? What do you think if it's whole milk, 200 ml, but you're allowed 350 ml of skim milk? What do you think you're going to go for? Of course you're going to go for the fattier option.
Yep.
And then are you going to measure it right? How many people know what 30 grams of cheddar look like? Have you got scales? No, because they don't tell you to weigh in. No. There's no way you know what 30 gram of cheddar looks like. It's like a tablespoon of peanut butter, mate. A tablespoon is a level. Did you know that? It's a level. You go like that, didn't you? And then you dip a finger in. Aye. Again, less like the knowledge of teaching you is just no there. Then we've got ricotta. So all the cheeses, mate. Grab and go. Choose these healthy extras when you have time to eat, but not. So choose these healthy extras when you have time to eat, but not to measure.
Right, so you just fucking
go
for it.
Aye. Because we live a busy lifestyle, so everybody in their heat are too busy, aren't they?
So you can just empty a bag of cheddar at your mouth, great.
No, this is this stuff here. Look. 2 Dairy Lee cheese slices.
I used to eat them all the time.
2 cheese strings. 2 Baby Bells. 4 McClellan seriously spreadable light creamy cheese squares. I'm getting a bit hungry now.
Other spreads are available, mate.
The Laughing Cow also is grab and go, fine. Then we come to our B choices. So safeguard, this is a wee weight-wise tip. Safeguard your success. If your favourite type of cereal isn't listed as a healthy extra, it will have a sin value. Oh, no. Go and check page 67. Okay, let's get into this. So 45 gram of bran flakes, sound. 45 gram of porridge, sound. 40 gram of porridge, sound. 50 gram of Kellogg's, sound. 45 grams of Kellogg's whole grain, sound. Nestle bite-sized shredded wheat, 2 Weetabix. 40
I'm just
grams
sitting here in terror thinking it's Cocoa Pops on the sin list.
Right, so let's go to page 67. So what everything I've just mentioned there, guys, 2 Weetabix, a banana. So 2 Weetabix with a banana or chocolate or golden syrups is cushy. Let's go to page 67, right? Let's see what the actual cereals you're not allowed, as if it makes a fucking difference with the calories. So anyway.
Please, Cocoa Pops.
67.
I don't want Cocoa Pops to have sins in them, mate. I don't want to go home with that on my conscience.
So this is the sin values, I think.
It.
So a cereal bar, granola bars, breakfast cereal bar. Where are we? So if your cereal, check page 67 of the sin section. So I 5 cents for Cocoa Pops, and then cornflakes is 4.5, frosted flakes is 4.5, and bran flakes is 4. Right, so sorry to tell you, mate. 5 cents for Cocoa Pops.
I need for my granny. I've said that joke twice a day. I'm not going to tell you when it was the other time, but I've said it twice. No, in all seriousness, mate, right, so not long before that, you said about the milk being a healthy A choice or something, right? Mm-hmm. Does that mean if I mix my Cocoa Pops with the good milk, would that take some of the sins down from me? Just asking for a friend.
No, I don't think so, mate. I don't think they like that. They also don't like when you save up sins. So say, for example... I can't
save my sins up?
No, mate. So say, for example, I'm 4 sins under for yesterday. I can't carry them over into the day.
Just wipe them away?
Doesn't it work like that? It clears, man. So let's talk about sins. This is about the last bit of the podcast, guys, I promise. Do I have all my sins each day? Do I have to have all my sins each day? Nope. Not if you don't feel you need them. Though you might be surprised how many you use almost without thinking. Sins are there to help you keep extras like ketchup meals, sweet snacks and alcohol nicely in control. It means you can enjoy these foods that many diets ban. Who are you talking to? Who are you coming after people? So that was a very brief, that was all they said about sins. There was only 2 pages of sins. Wait, find out more, a list of average sins. It's because with food optimizing, you'll be tightening up on those foods that may have caused you to gain weight. So foods have caused you to gain weight.
Yep.
I don't think any certain foods caused you to gain weight.
Yep.
I think it's the whole consumption of calories. Again, this is another flaw. Somebody's reading this going, you might be wondering how you can eat all this food every day and still lose weight. If you've read this far, this is page 45. It's because with food optimizing, you'll be tightening up on those foods that may have caused you to gain weight and so pose a greater risk when you're trying to lose weight. So the foods that they're telling you that a certain food group, i.e. the sins, have caused you to gain weight. So we need to sin them so that we don't then gain the weight back from the foods and keep in control of them.
Yep.
None of these foods are banned. Nothing's banned with food optimizing. However, they'll seriously jeopardize your success if they're not carefully controlled. So the thing that they're calling stuff free foods,
Yep.
so that they show that they've got food freedom, and yet they're so sins. I never actually knew that they looked so negatively towards sin. So why the fuck are you even getting people them?
Exactly.
If you're going to demonize them, because that's demonizing food groups. So everything that's a sin, i.e., everything we all enjoy,
Yep.
we can't even really control it properly because we don't know, because we're being demonized that's what put weight on us in the first place.
I think they're relying on people again, mate, to have a good relationship with food as opposed to a bad one. But we know for a fact, well, I know when I bring people into an outfit for the first time that their relationship with food and their discipline is just non-existent. So if I put that book in front of them and said, just manage those sins for me, that's all you need to do for the next few weeks, you wouldn't do it, mate. You just wouldn't manage it. There's a human behaviour behind why they're doing what they're doing, mate. And if you don't figure that out, it doesn't matter how many sins are there, again, you're not educating them, you're not finding a deeper reason. When people come to you with issues with food, training, discipline, lack of sleep, anxiety, depression, there's a reason behind that, mate. Just dishing out a book isn't going to solve that reason long term. It just won't do it.
Yep.
And that's that. So finding out what's deeper wrong with somebody at that time and why they've came to see you is one of the ways you need to go about it. Not dishing out a wee Slim World Bible.
Agree, mate. And do you not think that people won't even read those kind of paragraphs, which actually, if you do, can actually be the thing that sets you up for the get-go? Imagine you're fresh, vulnerable, feeling overweight, feeling horrible about yourself, and you're ready to go with this. You actually just go, let's do this, man. I'm going to read every page of this. And you read it and you go, I'm going to take this as absolute gospel. And that's the start of it, mate. Because what they won't advertise is some of these paragraphs, because they'll get people actually coming after them. They'll get proper nutritionists and all these kind of people coming after them, because that stuff's warping your brain, mate. We talk about sins and stuff that's the public know about. That stuff's in private, meant to be private, where they really get inside your head. That was almost like scaremongering there with the sins, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one of the things that the females that I know who've done it before is they talk about the most is the sins. That's the thing that gets inside their head the most, mate, is the sins. It's the biggest thing they've got. I bet if you say to somebody who's done Slimmer before, give me 10 sins, they'll be able to tell you. Now imagine you educated them the right way and said, give me 10 benefits of the nutritional plan that I kind of gave you guidelines wise. Give me 10 benefits of that. If they were so, like, the way they can remember the negative sins, imagine you could teach the positives of your structure, how good it would be, mate, for the rest of their life.
Yep.
As opposed to teaching somebody that version of it, mate, and they're just going backwards all the time. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does,
Like,
mate.
stop educating people the wrong way and start doing it the right way. But again, I don't think they know what they're talking about.
No, they don't. And I think they play on it, mate. See, when people say the answers that some people have given, didn't actually feel restricted with food, but I felt restricted with alcohol and all that stuff. I think they play on that. They play on you're allowed as much pasta as you want. So it's not restricted. It's not like other 1,000 calorie diets, because they don't give you a calorie target. But effectively, in the modern world, with people with busy lives who need concrete advice to help them, to give them a diet that facilitates their life with their kids and their family, they play on that, mate. They say you're allowed as much pasta as you want, when we all know that on the other end of it, they're like, this is a sin. So everything that's good and enjoyable for us that our kids eat is a sin. And they'd be saying, no, but we're not restricting you calorie-wise, because we tell you eat pasta, and it's like, but you also don't tell us what calories to eat. So it's the same thing.
Yep.
It's like they're like hanging on to you. They've got you tied down while you grab your pasta. And they're like, that's all, but do you know what I mean? So it's worrying in terms of the education point. Yeah. Happy with that, mate?
Happy with that, mate. I
Anything you
feel
want
like
to add?
I feel like I'm leaving more stupid when I came in this morning. That's what I feel
Is that
like.
because, aye.
Just because I'm like, I don't understand any of that. Like, I don't, the logic behind this whole dieting process, mate, is just perplexing, mate. It makes zero sense.
Yep.
And I know for a fact it's not my intelligence or my education.
Aye.
It's whatever's in that book, mate. It's just fucking blew my mind in all the wrong ways.
Yep.
So I mean, I need to go and watch something, mate, something educational video just to cheer myself up.
Aye. Guys, hopefully you found it beneficial and didn't get made to be seen. But aye, look, again, we're being honest, guys. This is just me and Chris don't prep for this. We just get the questions that everybody has answered, and I just deliver them. And I like to deliver them to Chris so he's not seen them before, so he can react in as honest a way as possible, which is all he really knows. But yeah, as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. Get it shared, get it out there. We put a lot of work into this in terms of bringing you this in the hope that it helps more than one person. But if it helps one person get over the vicious cycle they're in with their diet and training, then we've done our job at the end of the day, because it's just a Friday afternoon, two pals having a chat, and we'd appreciate it if you could share it to help more people. So yes, thanks for listening and peace out. Cheers, Chris.
Cheers, my man. See you next week.